To save my fiancé Liam, I was hit with a blow to the head. When I woke up, I looked at him blankly. Who are you? He looked stunned. As I was about to call his name, I heard him say, I'm just a casual friend of yours. A casual friend indeed. Your fiancé is Ethan. He quickly pointed to the side. I smiled and looked up. Ethan, then let's get married. Ethan extended his hand to me. Okay, let's get married. Liam was my childhood friend, someone I'd known since birth. He was also my fiancé. We were from well-established families, having known each other forever. I thought he, like me, was looking forward to our upcoming wedding. But I never expected it. When I pretended to have amnesia and tried to call him Liam, intending to tell him I was just joking, he seriously told me, word by word, I'm just a casual friend of yours. I was stunned, thinking he was joking with me too. Then he even put his arm around Tiffany, who was standing beside him. Let me reintroduce you. This is my girlfriend. Tiffany shyly lowered her head, pouting, Liam, you're so sudden, it's embarrassing. The scene was too dazzling. So dazzling my eyes welled up a bit. My throat felt tight too. I couldn't help but ask, but I thought I heard I had a fiancé? If only he would admit that the fiancé was him. Then I could just dismiss what happened as a twisted joke. Liam paused, then quickly pointed to the side. Your fiancé is Ethan. Seeing that I didn't react much, he visibly relaxed. I curled my lips into a sarcastic smile, feeling a pang of irony. In that very setting, he couldn't resist kissing Tiffany's cheek. He whispered with a low chuckle into Tiffany's ear, Sweetheart, you're so cute when you're shy. I suddenly felt utterly disgusted. Liam, who had grandly proposed to me with fireworks across Oakhaven just last month, had died in that moment. Along with all the years of kindness he had shown me. I smiled and looked up. Ethan, then let's get married. I continued with the lie had fabricated. A little bit out of spite. Sure enough, upon hearing my words, Liam immediately let go of Tiffany. He stared intently at Ethan. Ethan would refuse, wouldn't he? Ethan looked a little nervous. Even though everyone knew Ethan had never been particularly fond of me. He once told his mother, Skylar is too spoiled, not gentle at all. But he never imagined his mother would share that comment as a joke. That day, Ethan, only 10 years old, was embarrassed by the adults and stormed off. After that, Ethan rarely showed up at events where I was present. Even though we always attended the same school, he still tried to avoid me. Everyone said Ethan hated me. Even I thought so. But now, Ethan extended his hand to me and said, Okay, let's get married. Ethan, you jerk. Liam almost roared that out. He clenched his fist, quickly lunging to punch Ethan. I instantly stood up and grabbed his wrist. I had been arranged to learn martial arts since childhood. A pampered playboy like Liam was no match for me. Liam stared at me in disbelief. Sky, you. Annoyed, I threw his hand off. Who gave you permission to hit my man? I shielded Ethan, emanating an aura that suggested one should know better than to strike someone under my protection. Liam was taken aback because, in the past, that's exactly how I had protected him. His mother passed away during childbirth. Mr. David quickly remarried, saying Liam was still young and needed a mother. In reality, his so-called stepmother was a kept woman he had been involved with before his marriage. Miss Victoria treated Liam very poorly. She would frequently beat him with a stick. I lived next door and often climbed over the wall to apply medicine to Liam's wounds. I would also promptly call Liam out when his stepmother was looking for trouble. Once, when his stepmother was about to strike, I even grabbed the stick, shielded Liam, and defiantly shouted, If you dare touch a single hair on his head, the Pei family won't let you get away with it. Because I was there, his stepmother didn't dare to act recklessly. She even transferred her dislike for Liam onto me. I often heard his stepmother badmouthing me behind my back. She's already chasing boys at such a young age. She'll be a good-for-nothing when she grows up. Hearing me call Ethan my man, Liam looked aggrieved and was about to explain something. Then suddenly clutched her stomach. Liam, my tummy hurts so much, so much. Liam hurriedly supported her. Tiffany, wait, I'll take you to a doctor right away. He kept looking back at me, step by step. But his steps remained resolute as he walked away. Tiffany glanced sideways, her gaze at me filled with triumph. As if telling me, she had won this round. Her defiant look met Ethan's deep gaze and instantly turned to panic. Sky, I'll take you home. Ethan put an arm around my shoulder, his eyes smiling. I was curious what he was planning, knowing it was all a lie. Ethan didn't take me to his place but drove me back to the Pei family home. On the way, he told me about the Pei family's affairs, fearing I might feel out of place when I returned. Before I got out of the car, he poked his own cheek. Driving is hard work. Don't I get a reward? I was stunned. Was the usually aloof Ethan actually flirting with me? I understood what he meant. But, was he getting too deep into character? He knew this was all a casual lie Liam had made up. I blinked, quietly watching him act. After a long silence without a response from me, he cupped my face directly. His handsome face loomed closer, startling me into quickly closing my eyes. I heard a deep, magnetic chuckle near my ear, just as I was about to quip that he was a heartbreaker. I felt a warm touch on my eyelids. Sky, your eyes are truly beautiful. If you keep looking at me like that, I won't be able to control myself. Ethan spoke softly in my ear, as if these words were intimate whispers meant only for the two of us. Can't control himself? I thought about his words for a moment and instantly understood what he meant, pushing him away in furious embarrassment. I fled the car. Ethan rolled down the window, laughing softly from behind. Sky, no rush, I have plenty of patience. I'll get you used to me, step by step. My ears turned crimson, and my heart pounded. I hurried into the Pei family home. Familiar with you? You wish. They're all liars. Mom and Dad were relieved to see me safe and sound. They sat me down on the sofa. Ethan said you lost your memory? Eleanor worriedly held my hand. I placed my other hand over hers, stating solemnly, I didn't lose my memory. I was just messing with Liam. Immediately, my head was wrapped by Robert. Is that something you can joke about? Now the whole of Oakhaven thinks you have amnesia. Robert was slightly annoyed, setting down his cup. And how could you disregard your own safety to take a blow to the head for that brat Liam? Why did I give birth to such a love-struck daughter? Although it looked like he was scolding me directly, I could hear the deep concern in his words. I immediately swore to the heavens, it won't happen again next time. This finally appeased my parents. Besides, if I hadn't pretended to have amnesia, I wouldn't have known Liam didn't want to marry me. I explained the situation in detail to my parents. Robert was so angry he almost slammed the table. That brat has gotten too cocky. People who want to be my Pei family's son-in-law could line up from here to another country. How dare he treat her so poorly? Upon hearing that Liam was doing it for Tiffany, his anger flared even more. He cursed, good for nothing. Can't even pick out a decent partner. When's name was mentioned, Mom and Dad's anger immediately vanished, and they exchanged a knowing smile. We are very happy with Ethan. You should seriously consider him. Only I stood there dumbfounded, completely confused. It wasn't until Maria came over and told me that I realized. It turned out that a year ago, Eleanor had arranged a blind date for me, and it was with Ethan. But back then, my heart was only for Liam. It also happened to be Liam's birthday. I ended up standing Ethan up. No wonder my favorite restaurant, The Vine, was booked that day. When I passed by, I even marveled, who is it? So ridiculously wealthy. The next day, as soon as I woke up, I saw Ethan already sitting on the sofa downstairs, chatting happily with my parents. Seeing me come downstairs, Ethan looked up with a smile. I had to admit, Ethan's handsome face was truly captivating. When he told me he was taking me to get married, I still hadn't fully processed it. You're the one who talked about marriage yesterday. You don't want me to be laughed at by everyone in Oakhaven, do you? I glanced at my parents behind me, hoping they would intervene, but they were secretly smiling. Fine, let's just get married. No sooner had the words left my mouth than Ethan led me out of the Pei family home. As soon as we stepped outside, 2 lines of people sprayed party poppers. Pink petals rained down, and a veil had been tied to my high bun without me realizing it. Ethan opened a ring box. A 20-carat vivid fancy purple-pink diamond ring appeared before my eyes. That was the ring I had fallen in love with at first sight at an auction on my 18th birthday. Everyone present gasped in amazement. The pink diamond shimmered like a dream in the sunlight. At the time, neither Liam nor I had the means to acquire that ring. It had become one of my biggest regrets. Sky, will you marry me? Ethan looked at me with deep affection. Ethan's assistant busily handed me some documents. I glanced over them, and was stunned for a long time. Ethan's generous wedding offer included 20% of his company's shares and all his real estate assets. Aren't you afraid? I furrowed my brow slightly. Wasn't he afraid of losing everything? Did he trust me that much? Ethan's lips curved into a smile. Sky, no one knows you better than I do. Those words seemed to transcend time. I do. Ethan excitedly placed the ring on my finger. He stood up and gently lifted my chin. His breath mingled with mine as he deepened the kiss, allowing no retreat. Behind us, there was a chorus of cheers. After what felt like an eternity, he lifted me into his arms and carried me to the car. It wasn't until we emerged from City Hall, marriage certificate in hand, that I still thought it was all a fleeting dream. I was about to pinch my cheek hard, but caught my wrist. Wife, if you want to pinch, pinch me. He placed my hand on his strong forearm. The warm touch made me immediately pull away. Seeing me in a daze, Ethan chuckled foolishly. Come on, I'll take you home. He put an arm around my shoulder. This time, we returned to Ethan's villa. My luggage had been packed by my parents' staff and placed in the living room. Even the shoe rack had shoes in my size. Ethan pressed me onto the sofa, cupping my chin, not allowing me to turn my head away. Sky, are you ready to get to know me now? My eyes were red. Didn't you say we'd take it step by step? Ethan's pheromones were truly overwhelming. I pressed my hands against his chest, trying to push him away, but didn't budge. How was that possible? I knew how strong I was. He raised an eyebrow. Taking advantage of my distraction, he grabbed both my wrists with one hand and pinned them above my head. Meeting the parents, making a generous wedding offer, proposing, getting married, how is that not taking it step by step? I closed my eyes in embarrassment, a silent acknowledgement. I only heard his low chuckle in my ear. Then, passion erupted. The living room was a mess all the way to the bedroom. Finally, I was utterly exhausted. I was woken by Ethan's phone ringing. Ethan got up and went to the balcony. I groggily opened my eyes and also wanted to go to the balcony for some fresh air. I heard Liam's voice from the other end of the call. Ethan, you finally picked up my call. Liam sounded very displeased. Ethan frowned. Speak quickly. I'm just messing around with Tiffany now. Don't get any ideas about Sky. Ethan scoffed. If you like Tiffany, marry her. Why are you still pestering Sky? Ethan, you don't understand. Tiffany is my love, but Sky is more important. She's my family. After all these years of connection, I won't abandon Sky for Tiffany, and Sky won't abandon me for you. Once she recovers her memory, she'll definitely come back to me. If you don't want to be a clown, then don't have any other intentions towards Sky. Liam added at the end, do you really think you understand her better than I do? Ethan chuckled twice, offering no reply. Instead, he asked, aren't you afraid she'll hate you when her memory returns? After a moment of silence, Liam smiled. My will never hate me. So, in Liam's eyes, I was that naively devoted and a pushover. I returned to the bedroom, pretending to still be asleep. Ethan came in, watched me for a long time, and finally pressed a kiss to my forehead. Good morning, wife. When he thought there would be no reply, I opened my eyes, smiling. Good morning, husband. Ethan's tense nerves immediately relaxed. Upon hearing that Ethan and I were married, Mr. Richard and Mrs. Caroline immediately put their work aside and rushed back from abroad. That evening, Ethan took me to the Vine. The room's name was Misty Suite. The interior was elegantly decorated, and I heard this private was the hardest to book. Many dignitaries and VIPs had to reserve it half a year in advance for their banquets. As soon as we entered, Mr. Richard and Mrs. Caroline looked at me in unison. They shared a knowing smile. How wonderful, our Ethan is really lucky. Mrs. Caroline was overjoyed, greeting me warmly. She held my hand, calling me Sky with every other word. This child, he always had a soft spot for you since you were little. Back then, just because I made a joke, that boy Ethan didn't speak to me for half a year. As Caroline spoke, her eyes welled up a bit. I hugged her. Auntie, if Ethan ever dares to ignore you again, just tell me, and I'll help you beat him. Mrs. Caroline laughed aloud, then said seriously, why Auntie? You should call me Mom. I used to tell your mother how wonderful it would be if I had a daughter like you. Mrs. Caroline gently stroked my hair, her eyes full of affection. I was a little lost in thought. Liam's parents didn't like me. Their eyes held only disgust when they saw me. Liam's stepmother even called me a tomboy constantly. Mrs. Caroline placed my hand over Ethan's and gave us a few words of advice. Midway, I went to the restroom. By chance, I saw Tiffany coming out of the restroom. She froze for a moment when she saw me, then her face quickly returned to normal. Sister, why are you next door? Are you hosting someone important? She blinked her eyes, pretending to be pure and innocent. I was a bit confused. How come I don't remember having a sister? Tiffany suddenly choked on her words. She used to try to ingratiate herself with me, calling me sister from our first meeting. Though I found it strange, I didn't pay much attention to it then. Now it seemed she had been eager to be the other woman from the start. But quickly, Tiffany's eyes darted, and she changed her expression. It's normal for sister to forget me. What a coincidence today. I'm just next door, having dinner with Liam's mother. Auntie really likes me. She even talked about you, sister. Seeing her smirking, implying she had more to say, I curled my lips. That's nice. I wish you both 100 years of happiness. I heard Liam and I used to be neighbors, so it's normal for Auntie to talk about me. Seeing that my emotions showed no ripples, Tiffany's pent-up frustration caused her face to contort. Her expression suddenly hardened, then she curled her lips and unceremoniously slapped herself across the face. I almost clapped my hands in approval. Then she whimpered, "Sister, I really didn't mean it, please don't hit me." I crossed my arms, watching her quietly perform. Within 3 seconds, Liam was there, supporting her. "Tiffany, are you all right?" He looked up and saw me, his anger immediately dissipating by 70%, replaced with panic and surprise. "Sky, what did Tiffany do to upset you? Are you jealous?" Good heavens. Was he trying to convince himself that even with amnesia, I would still be angry at Tiffany because of him? I held up my index finger. "First, please call me Skylar. We're not close. Second, the dish I just ate had no vinegar flavor. Third, I didn't hit her. She might have a problem with her brain, she hit herself." Liam's surprise vanished. It turned into hurt. As cried, weeping pitifully, his heart softened more and more. But facing my gaze, he only dared to say, "Tiffany isn't like that. And is my Sky like that?" Ethan pulled me into his arms, glaring at Liam. "Keep your people in check, and don't be a nuisance like a fly." Ethan spoke bluntly, sweeping them with a look of disgust, then led me away, leaving to support Tiffany, looking utterly bewildered. On the weekend, a friend invited Ethan for a picnic. Ethan brought me along. When we arrived, we found Liam and Tiffany were also there. Tiffany leaned into Liam's embrace. Spotting me from afar, Tiffany wrapped her arms around Liam's neck like she was guarding her food. She quickly pecked Liam on the mouth, declaring her claim. Liam was only momentarily surprised by Tiffany's boldness. He then cupped her neck, preventing her escape. The two chased and embraced, kissing passionately. The people around had initially been exclaiming, finding it exciting. But upon seeing me, they instantly fell silent, gasping. It was even more thrilling. They were all just onlookers. I pretended not to notice and sat down. Ethan was grilling chicken wings for me beside me. I propped my head up, admiring his profile, then his Adam's apple, and then his distinctively jointed hands. Exquisite, truly exquisite. Perhaps I was too engrossed, as Ethan glanced at me with a doting smile. "It seems you haven't gotten used to me enough these past few days." His voice wasn't quiet. I playfully punched his arm in embarrassment. "Used to what? You two haven't shared a bed, have you?" Liam's voice came from above. He sounded like a resentful woman. Ethan didn't spare him a glance. "We're an old married couple. Why do you care so much about us?" Liam's fists were practically bursting. "Isn't that right, Sky?" Ethan suddenly looked at me. My eyes full of smiles. "You're absolutely right, husband." Then I kept his face and quickly gave him a light kiss on the lips. It wasn't to annoy Liam. It was because Ethan was absolutely delectable. Beauty was intoxicating. In the afternoon, I was idly throwing stones into the lake. Then I heard Liam confront Ethan from behind the bushes. "Ethan, you're shameless. I'm going to tell Sky that I'm her real fiancé. This whole thing was wrong from the beginning." Liam's voice was filled with anger. Ethan scoffed coldly. "If it was wrong from the beginning, why don't you just let it be? What are you going to tell her? That you pushed her to another man when she had amnesia? Or tell her that you only feel familial affection for her, and Tiffany is your true love? Or perhaps you want to tell her that you officially started dating Tiffany the day before you proposed?" Liam was instantly speechless. He jutted his neck out. "What's wrong with wanting to understand my heart before marriage? Isn't that being responsible? I love Sky, she's the most important person in my life." Ethan chuckled dryly. "I've seen shameless people, but never one as shameless as you. Your feelings for Sky are truly cheap. Love is love. Besides her, you wouldn't want anyone else. Not your so-called familial affection. It seems you don't truly love Tiffany either." Ethan's blatant mockery enraged Liam, who always cared about his reputation. As expected, I heard sounds of a fight from behind. Tiffany popped out of nowhere. "Stop fighting, both of you." "Ethan, I know you're doing this to vent sister's anger. All the blame is mine. If you want to hit someone, hit me." I continued throwing stones. One hit Tiffany's arm precisely. The next one hit Liam's thigh precisely. Tiffany glared at me resentfully. I shrugged. "My apologies, you're as green as this lake water." I couldn't tell the difference. Tiffany looked pitifully at Liam, who also had a bruised and swollen face. Liam, seeing how calm I was, became indecisive. "You heard everything?" Ethan's back stiffened. I clapped my hands together. Just happened to pass by and heard some manipulative nonsense. My reaction was too normal. I intimately linked arms with Ethan. Let's go, husband. After we walked away, Ethan looked preoccupied. I just hit Liam. He was uneasy, worried that if I recovered my memory later, I would resent him for hitting Liam. Are you hurt? I asked. Ethan obediently shook his head. Did you enjoy hitting him? I asked again. Ethan smiled. It was all right. The Little Lou family, we can handle it. I patted my chest. The incident was provoked by Liam. I knew very well that Ethan was using the opportunity to get even for me. After sitting down, I noticed Ethan's hand had a scraped back. I'll put some iodine on it to disinfect it for you. I took out the iodine, held his hand, and carefully applied it. Anywhere else need disinfecting? I looked up and met Ethan's foxy eyes. In that captivating moment, he cupped my chin and kissed me. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Liam shake off Tiffany's hand and stalk away in a huff. Ethan, that guy, was definitely doing it on purpose. I glared at him in dissatisfaction. Ethan chuckled, flicking my nose. Don't look at me with those soulful eyes. I won't be able to control myself. I scoffed, punishing him why making him continue grilling chicken wings for me. When we got home, we saw Liam standing stubbornly at the villa gate. He ignored Ethan and rushed straight towards me. Sky, will you come back to me? I'll break off contact with Tiffany immediately. Ethan pushed him away with one hand. Are you saying I didn't hit you hard enough? Liam stared fixedly at me. I took Ethan's hand. If this continued, it wouldn't just be about paying for damages. I spoke to Liam in a gentle tone. Liam, we are just casual friends. Don't say such bizarre things. Also, I am already Ethan's legally married wife. Please respect boundaries. I heard that day, Liam stood at the gate, looking up at the second-story window, for a long time. He refused to leave. That night, a torrential rain poured down, and he collapsed in the rain. It was Tiffany who rushed to his side and took him to the hospital. Meanwhile, I was nestled in Ethan's arms watching a movie. While was taking care of Liam in the hospital, she posted many social media posts. The accompanying photos either showed her fingers intertwined with Liam's, or her head resting on Liam's chest. She even showed off matching rings with Liam, announcing their engagement. I calmly liked each one of them, satisfying her pathetic desire to show off. Wife, the custom simple band has arrived. Let me put it on you. Ethan knelt on one knee, devoutly placing the ring on my finger. He took my hand and pressed a kiss to it. Ethan, let's pick a date for the wedding, shall we? Ethan looked at me in disbelief. You agree? We solemnly introduced each other to our respective family and friends. I agreed. I nodded. Ethan began organizing the wedding. Both the venue and the wedding dress were top-tier luxury. He seemed to want to present me with the best things in the world. Even the people at his company noticed that their CEO had been in an exceptionally good mood lately, smiling brightly every day. The news of Ethan and my wedding caused a stir in our social circle. Everyone knew I had grown up with Liam, and that Ethan detested me. Now, Ethan and I were going to have a wedding. People couldn't believe their eyes. They read the names on the invitation over and over again. Groom, Ethan. Bride, Skylar. Liam, fresh out of the hospital, lingered around the villa. When he realized he couldn't intercept me there, he went to my studio's entrance. I'm a fairly well-known comic artist. I like to keep my work and personal life separate, so I set up a studio specifically for myself. I designed it just the way I liked it. When I saw Liam, he was separated by the glass door. I could see him, but he couldn't see me. He had grown a lot of stubble. He, who usually paid close attention to his appearance, had uncharacteristically neglected his face. I ignored him, letting him stay outside. Perhaps, by the time I finished my work, he would have discreetly left. But when I submitted my draft, the sky had already darkened, and Liam was still outside. He held a cup of my favorite jasmine-flavored coffee. During college, I had a heavy course load and often relied on coffee to stay awake. When I grew tired of coffee, I complained to Liam if only there was a jasmine-flavored coffee. It was just a casual remark. I never expected he would remember it. He specially hired a barista to learn, and every day, he would hand brew a cup of jasmine coffee for me. It wasn't until I submitted my graduation thesis that I finally stopped drinking coffee. At that time, Liam propped his head up and asked me, "You can quit coffee, so will you one day quit me too?" I remember what I said. I said, "Coffee is a temporary need, but our years of friendship, quitting you would feel like tearing out my heart, wouldn't it?" My eyes welled up a bit, my nose feeling sore, when he embraced Tiffany, and denied being my fiancé. How was that not a pain like tearing out my heart? Still unable to see me, Liam's heart sank into an icy abyss. He squatted in front of the glass door. The 6-foot-tall man covered his face, crying inconsolably. At that moment, I pushed open the door. He suddenly looked up, his face filled with joy. Sky, I knew you wouldn't abandon me. Even with amnesia, you're still different with me. He stumbled to his feet, trying to grab me. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please just look at me again. I've already given Tiffany a breakup fee and told her not to bother me anymore. He blurted out a rapid stream of words. I found it somewhat irritating. I shook off his outstretched hand. Ethan's car screeched to a halt. He opened the door and walked directly towards me. Sky, I'm taking you home. Ethan grabbed my hand, as if afraid I'd run off with someone else. The unwanted Liam became frantic, striding forward to pull my other arm. The air seemed to freeze, and the pressure dropped sharply. Let her go. Both spoke simultaneously, neither willing to yield. I pulled my hand free from Ethan's grip, and placed my hand over Liam's hand. Then, amidst Ethan's sadness and Liam's surprise, I forcefully pried Liam's fingers open, one by one. Don't touch me, you disgusting person. After prying his fingers open, I disgustedly took out a wet wipe and meticulously cleaned my hand. I twirled the simple band on my left ring finger. I glanced sideways at Liam. Liam, I'm a married woman now. Please behave yourself in the future. Acting like this just makes you seem pathetic. In the rearview mirror, Liam looked utterly dejected. I noticed Ethan gripping the steering wheel tightly. Perhaps he was thinking about Liam's angry shout from behind just now. Ethan, do you dare tell her that she has amnesia, and her boyfriend and fiancé before that were both me? Sky, will you leave me? Ethan asked hesitantly. I was silent for a moment, then asked, how much did Liam give Tiffany as a breakup fee? Ethan thought I was changing the subject and chuckled self-deprecatingly. 5 million. I looked earnestly at Ethan's profile. I won't love Liam, and I won't leave you for Liam. With my assurance, Ethan relaxed. All these years, Liam had never paid 5 million for me. He truly treated Tiffany, who gave him love, differently. Lost in thought, I heard Ethan laugh. What are you laughing at? I asked, a bit confused. He glanced at me, saying cryptically, I know you, Sky. I was even more puzzled. What do you know about me? Why was he suddenly speaking in riddles? Ethan handed me a card. This month's salary has been paid, all for my dear wife. The gloom of the day instantly vanished without a trace. That evening, I couldn't help but whisper into Ethan's ear, Ethan, you truly do understand me. Liam finally quieted down, no longer making a fool of himself. Ethan booked a private to celebrate my birthday at Ember Vine. After dinner, Mr. Evans and several servers came in, pushing a cake. I thought they would leave. Unexpectedly, they all called out in unison, Happy, boss. I was utterly baffled. What was going on? I looked at Ethan, then at Mr. Evans. Ethan, in a white shirt and black trousers, leaned back lazily in his chair, propping his head. This is your birthday gift. Wife, from now on, you are the owner of the vine. I chuckled. If I'm the owner, then what are you? Ethan frowned slightly, beginning to think seriously. I'm the husband of the boss? Or the father of the boss? It sounded increasingly strange. Although I had suspected Ethan was the owner of the vine, I couldn't help but pinch his chin and press him. This restaurant, it wasn't specially opened for me, was it? The restaurant and private names all began with Sky. I couldn't help but assume too much. Watching his ears turn redder and redder, I had my answer. How many years have you liked me? Ethan pouted. You're wrong. I don't like you. My heart went cold. He suddenly stared at me seriously. Skylar, I love you. I've loved you for many, many years. The next second, he pulled me into his arms, stroking the hair at the back of my head. Skylar, thank you for choosing me this time. When approached me, I had just finished receiving an award. It was for a comic I completed last year that remained highly popular. I didn't know how she found me. Seeing me, she was furious. Skylar, why are you still bothering Liam even after you lost your memory? Why don't you just die, you kind of woman? Her emotions were very agitated. I didn't want to get into an argument with her. I skillfully dodged her shove. Unfortunately, she lost her balance and fell to the ground with a forceful push. It hurt so much, my stomach. My baby. My expression tightened, and I quickly called an ambulance to rush her to the hospital. The baby was saved. I asked Ethan to pick me up, and also notified Liam to come take care of Tiffany. Tiffany lay in the hospital bed, gripping the bed sheets, gritting her teeth, her lips pale. Why did you save my child? Shouldn't you despise me? Tiffany's tears started to fall. Her voice weak, she kept questioning me. I sighed. The child is innocent. I despise you, but you're not the one I despise the most. The one I despise most is Liam, who was unfaithful and couldn't control himself. Tiffany looked at me incredulously. You didn't lose your memory? Skylar, you've been faking amnesia all along. I looked at her. Tiffany, you know Liam isn't the right person for you. He could betray me, and even if you force him to marry you with a child, he'll betray you someday too. Tiffany's tears became more torrential. I had hit a raw nerve. He already betrayed me. He clearly said he'd be good to me for life. With that promise from him, I wouldn't have cared about being the other woman. But why? Why did you give me hope when you said you lost your memory? Why did you make me believe he truly only loved me? I listened to Tiffany's breakdown while waiting for Ethan. As soon as Ethan arrived, I left. I couldn't be responsible for her life, and I wouldn't offer her any advice. Later, Liam and Tiffany's engagement party still took place as scheduled. The wedding Ethan planned for me was grand. Liam, however, somehow managed to barge into the bridal suite. Ethan, to prevent him from causing trouble, had deliberately set the wedding date on the same day as Liam's engagement party. The moment I saw Liam in the mirror, I was surprised. He was wearing a white suit. Sky, I remember you said you liked me best in a white suit. Won't you come with me? Was he trying to crash the wedding and steal the bride? Where did he get such confidence and audacity? My expression grew cold. On such a joyous day, seeing you truly brings bad luck. Tiffany, who had rushed over, stood behind him with red-rimmed eyes. Don't you get it? Skylar never lost her memory. She doesn't love you anymore, she shouted hysterically. Liam panicked. No, it's impossible, my Sky wouldn't do this to me. Tiffany, you're lying. This charade needed to end. I calmly turned to look at Liam. Am I beautiful, Liam? Liam froze on the spot, revealing the look I had once yearned for. First, a gaze of awe, then one of joy and happiness. I stared at him calmly. But, there's no turning back. I was supposed to wear a wedding dress and marry you, but you, personally, pushed me into Ethan's arms. In that moment, I stopped loving you. My words silenced the hopeful Liam. Sky, why did you lie to me? If you had told me sooner, I wouldn't have. I tugged at the corner of my mouth, a cold laugh escaping. When I tried to tell you, you claimed we were just friends. When I asked who my fiancé was, that was your last chance. Liam, you can get out. I turned back. Ethan had already brought the security guards. Liam was escorted out by the security guards. He still couldn't believe that I had truly given up on him, that I truly didn't want him anymore. Ethan hesitated slightly. I looked at him. Ethan, I never lost my memory. Are you telling me this because you don't want to marry me? You could have kept pretending. I wouldn't mind, Ethan said, his eyes a little red. You could have continued to use me to get back at Liam. Seeing like this, my heart ached profoundly. Ethan, I like you. I genuinely want to marry you. Ethan had said that liking and loving were different. I thought I would love him later. He pulled me into a hug. Skylar, those who betray true feelings will suffer eternal regret. I hugged him back, speaking firmly. Ethan, I will not betray your true feelings. Ethan finally no longer had to be anxious about the outcome. Tiffany married Liam as she wished, gave birth to a child, and ended up living the life of a single mother. Liam's stepmother treated Tiffany like a servant. She loved having such an easily manipulated daughter-in-law. Liam often stayed out all night, having countless mistresses outside. His career was also constantly suppressed by the Skylar and Ethan families. The emotional turmoil coupled with career setbacks left him with no mind to bother me further. 2 years later, I gave birth to an adorable Lily. Ethan became a doting dad. He often took Lily to the study to look at the comics I had drawn. This one your mom published when she was 16. This one your mom drew when she was 20. Regardless of whether Lily understood, he spoke of these things as if showing off his treasure. Later, Lily pressed him for the story of his and my love. Ethan smiled, recalling, that day, I was cornered and threatened by older kids in a dark alley when your mom appeared like a savior, chasing away those bullies. I anxiously asked her if she would get into trouble, and she patted her chest and told me with a smile, it's nothing. My dad said it's just a minor scrape. Our family can cover any costs. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and tea. He comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.